How's it going, everybody? My name is Bo, and I'm a home theater enthusiast. And in today's video, I'm finally gonna try running multiple subwoofers in my dedicated theater room. Now, for those of you that know me or followed my other content, you'll know that I just have a single PB-1000 subwoofer from SVS. It's in the back corner, as you can see. It's relatively close to my couch, about 4.5 feet from the woofer to the back of the middle of my couch. I get a nice tactile feedback with probably anything below 30 hertz, and I'm really happy with how that feels. But since I got rid of my tower speakers in my front wall when I did my makeover and installed in-wall speakers, I lost quite a bit of what I call punchy bass with music and some of my go-to demo scenes from movies like Ghost in the Shell 2017 or The Force Awakens, the Millennium Falcon chase scene. Just lost quite a bit of punchiness. I mean, they kind of fell flat. Music really took a big hit, and I'm looking to get that back. So I've talked to a bunch of people. I've heard all the reasons. Over the years, I've already known, everyone's been always harping on about having multiple subs. The one thing I don't care about is having even bass if I'm walking around my room. I just don't care about that. I'm sitting in this middle seat 95% of the time. This is where I want it to sound good. And honestly, before, when I had my tower speakers and my single sub, almost everything sounded great. I wish I had a mini DSP a long time ago, because I could have got rid of some of those peaks and helped with movies like Blade Runner 2049, Mad Max Fury Road, and Godzilla vs. Kong. Some of those movies like that have really extreme low bass, and I had a peak, I think it was around 40 hertz, and I always had to turn those movies down. But now that I have flattened my curve, I have a little bit of a null around 70, but I really improved the sound of those movies. That used to be an issue, but I'm still missing that bass, mid bass, if you will, for music and other movies. So my goal is to get that back. So I ordered two SB-3000s from SVS. They're two sealed subs. My goal or my hope is to put them on the front wall, left and right corners. I wanted them to be under 16 inches tall to fit under my acoustic panels. So sealed was the really only option. And the guy at SVS told me if I'm not going to the 3000 or 4000, I'm probably going to be disappointed going from my PB-1000. So we'll see. I know that you're not supposed to mix sealed and ported. I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens. I'm hoping not to lose the tactile feedback. But I'm open to try anything. So ideally, I'd keep the PB-1000 and put the two SB-3000s in the front corners. Get it all, nice bass response, and just get more room-filling bass audibly and also feel more bass. So we'll see. I have no real idea what to expect, but for the money I spent, it better be a significant improvement. But if the sealed and ported doesn't blend well, then I'm just going to put one of the 3000s in the back and one in the front right corner and see what happens. Like I said, I want to be impressed. I want to have a significant improvement, whether it doesn't have to be just the immediate volume, but I want to fill out the sound with music. I want to get back what I lost with those tower speakers. That's my main goal. If it happens, then I don't mind spending the money. But if it doesn't deliver what I'm looking for, then I'm going to have to send these back and look for an alternative. Maybe I'll have to just bite the bullet and go with a ported and have bigger subwoofers in the front. I don't know. But I'm going to switch to my computer screen. Will be an REW. I'm going to take measurements, tweak some stuff, get it to a place where I have learned something, and then I'll be back to talk about everything I learned, show the measurements, and then once I figure out a configuration, get it dialed in with the mini DSP, then I'm going to listen to a bunch of music, watch a bunch of demo scenes, and it'll be a couple of days or more for me, maybe even a week. I'll come back on camera, give you guys my thoughts, conclusions, and we'll see what happens. So I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous. I would hate to have to send these back and pay the freight, but who knows? So best case scenario, I'll have 3 subs in this room and I'll be grinning ear to ear, blown away with how it sounds and feels. Worst case scenario, I'll just save $2,200 for now and just keep the single sub set up. So yeah, look forward to the results, and we'll see you in a second. Okay, here we are in REW at my desk. I have it zoomed in as best I could so you guys can see the numbers, hopefully, if you're on your phone. Probably not, but so the vertical line is about 25.5 hertz. The horizontal is about 85. This was my single sub. This was the PB-1000 with my focals, no EQ. This was I think I was using my SPL meter with my sub at like 82 decibels at reference, but you know, this is at -18, and you can see this massive, you know, over 95 dB at 31 hertz, and then this really big null here. It's really quick null, but this is what I was rocking with before I got a mini DSP, or this is one of my first measurements. I did adjust that more to this. This is just the sub. I made some, adjusted the level down to 75 dB. So, you know, I lost that big peaks now down from 95.5 down to basically 89. So 6 dB there. Made some improvements, but this was just the sub without the mains. And I believe, yeah, this is it after I got basically the best PEQ I could do. It fixed quite a bit. Got the null around 75, but I did have a bit of an issue at 103 hertz. You know, my mains and everything just wasn't playing well together, but this is the best I could do with the single sub. So this is the reason why I bought more subs. So let's look real quick at the SB-3000s in the box and a comparison between that and the PB-1000. All right, here's a look at the subs in the box. One of them was an open box, which I saved $55 on, but I wasn't too worried about it. Coming from Crutchfield, looked brand new. Here's your side-by-side. The SB is sealed, not much smaller box, but a way bigger woofer. And like I said earlier, this is my first experience with a sealed subwoofer. So yeah, that's just a look at the size comparison. So let's get back to the measurements. So I'm not going to go through everything. I tried one in the front, got some gains. Then I put the other in the front left and got some more gains. So let's have a look at the 3 subs baseline. Let me change this color. Yeah, let's go. All right, so 3 subs gave me quite a bit of output down to, you know, 15 hertz. You can see I have the same spike as with the single sub, kind of the same, very similar, but I'm getting more output. And you know, so I went ahead and I PEQ'd that. And again, this is another very close color. Let me change this one real quick. All right, so this was the 3 subs PEQ'd. Now, I kind of wasn't paying attention. I was still high. I was, you know, get up to 90 hertz at 25, or 90 dB at 25 hertz. Let me get rid of some of these. Wait, there we go. This one. And all right, so now we can just see the 3 subs PEQ'd. Here's my 85 going down to 14 hertz. You know, so I have quite the difference between the peak. So 80 to 9 is a 10 decibel difference. Shout out to Michael from Cricks in the Build Montage Discord, kind of pointed out, he asked me why, basically between 50 to 100, it's quite a bit lower. Well, I was going off a house curve from the Home Theater Guru, and every video I watched basically was going off that. Now, if I actually was hitting that, it'd be fine because I'm up to 90 instead of 85. But it got me thinking. So the first thing I tried was just to do no house curve. So 3 subs, no house curve. And the results were, without the mains on, was very positive. I was pretty excited. But then I turned the mains on, and I, for some reason, just got this boost here that I couldn't get rid of. I tried to lower it, but it just lowered everything. But wasn't bad. It was a positive gain, but I'm hitting 89 dB here, so I didn't want any more spikes like that. So what I ended up doing was I just tried different house curves, and I settled on an 86 to 80. So here's the initial attempt at that. Let me get rid of, so 86 down to 80, just the subs initially, and then once I made a few more tweaks, adjusted the volume a little bit on the subs, I got pretty good. It goes up to 87 in the low, but at about 30 hertz, it's pretty consistent 85 decibel, which to my ear gives me the best bass. A bit of a null, but one thing I really gained on top of this was I got to put my crossover at 100 hertz. It was at 120, then I tried 110. So let's turn on the single sub. We'll turn off that. So single sub, this was a crossover at 110 because I was trying to get some oomph back in my mains, and this is with the crossover at 100 hertz. So quite the improvement. I'm happy with this for now. I'm not too worried about a couple dB drop nulls here and here. But yeah, this is the best I've gotten. I still can improve. I know that. I'm getting better with REW. So yeah, that's the results. Now let's check out the room. I got to run some wire into the walls because they're just draped across the floor. So I'm going to show you the mess I have right now, and then come back with the final thoughts and everything after that. So we'll see you in the disaster. All right, so I had to pull my front panels off. I had already fed the subwoofer cable on the right side. Couldn't really see it there. I had some things in the wall already for my speaker wire from where my old tower speakers were hooked up to. So I just had to drill a bigger hole above and then feed that down, which was a pain in the butt, let me tell you. And then it come out the hole. Then I taped the cable to that, pulled it back up, and then I have a drop ceiling, so I just worked, pull a panel to the side, and you feed the cable through, and then goes all the way to the back. I went with 39-foot cables for the right one. That just had enough. For the left one, I had plenty. So then it comes through into the back room. Doesn't look pretty, but I got to the mini DSP, which I had to sit out there so I can reach with the USB to hook to the PC. But yeah, that's a look at the mess. And now I'll give my final thoughts. Okay, so it's been about 9 days since I did the intro. About 4 days since I did my final REW EQing, and I just spent the last 4 days watching demos, listening to music, and I watched a couple full movies, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse being one of them. Sounded amazing. So I forgot to mention while showing the measurements, I did try different configurations with the subwoofers. I had both the SB-3000s, or only the SB-3000s. I removed the PV-1000, tried that. Had one in the front right, one in the rear left. measured pretty good, but didn't give me that tactile feedback I was used to in the back of the couch. So I went back to the 3. Also, I didn't gain a whole lot by adding the front left sub, the 3rd sub, but I just can't not have that symmetry on the front wall. It just, I don't know, it just wouldn't look right, I don't think. So I'm gonna bite the bullet and keep it mostly for aesthetics. It does add something, but not a ton. I would say overall, after listening to the 3 subs with my current EQ, when I turn off the front subs and just go back to the single PB-1000, I feel like I'm at about 65%, maybe 70% for better sounding movies. So it's quite the drop off. Now, this wasn't as game changing as I was hoping. I'm not like feeling bass through my body. I'm guessing I would need to have significantly more or bigger subwoofers to experience that. But I'm getting a very nice tactile feedback with my PB-1000. I got a nice, fairly flat response, blending sealed and ported subs. I'm pretty happy with that. And overall, it's definitely worth having. So I guess I'm a multi-subwoofer guy. It wasn't terrible with the single sub, but now that I've experienced multiple subs, got rid of those nulls, and have more bass extension out to 15 hertz. It's just a better experience. It's a smoother experience too. The Dolby Atmos Amaze demo, especially with my original sub with no EQ, with that massive peak, like what was it, 33 hertz, I think. That used to just like sound like the subwoofer was gonna blow. An interesting side effect, benefit, I guess, is having the 3 subs, having a nice flat response, is I'm able to turn the volume up on every movie that I've watched, every demo I've watched, which is a side effect I wasn't expecting. I kind of thought it'd be the opposite, where I wouldn't have to have it as loud. But like, what was it? The Batman. Like, I was watching the Batmobile demo scene before at like -21 in my room, and I watched it at -15, and I honestly, it sounded incredible. It wasn't too loud. The bass sounded great. Now, I couldn't watch Blade Runner 2049 at -15. That I used to have to watch at like -24, or at least the intro. And now, I think I was at -19, -20. And yeah, it's loud, but it doesn't sound like I'm, going to blow a subwoofer. But it has more bass, if you will. Now, there are some movies where it's not quite what I'm used to hearing, because I had that big peak before I did any EQ. So some movies benefited from that extreme peak because they probably just don't have as much bass in the mix. So movies like Ghost in the Shell 2017, or there was another one. I ended up creating a +3 for my subwoofer level as a second pattern on my Yamaha, so I can switch that if I need a little more bass output. And I measured it, and it literally just basically raises everything about 3 dB across the board. So I have that option. So overall, I'm really happy. I'm not like regretting that I didn't do it sooner or anything like that, but it's been a positive result. Cost me, some money, but in the long run, I think it's going to be worth it. And then I'm going to redo my stage, which I'll show you right now what it looks like. I need to make the stage deeper so that I can put the LEDs back in, and then try to angle those in a way that's going to look good. So right now I don't have that nice look that I had before, but I'll get that done. It's been hot and humid, so I'm going to wait to do that when it cools down a bit. So yeah, thanks for watching. This video turned out a bit longer than I was expecting, but for those that stayed tuned until the end, I appreciate it, and leave me a like, comment, and we'll see you in the next video.